Somewhere, right now, somebody is still playing Snake. Before the battle passes, before the app stores, before mobile games made more money than Hollywood, there were the legends. The games you took on the road trips to make them somehow less boring. The games that murdered your battery life. The games that somehow mattered way more than they should have. Four voices, four opinions, and absolutely no chance we agree on all of this. This is the Mount Rushmore of mobile games. In a world obsessed with rankings, two men dare to chisel greatness out of metaphorical granite, one wildly subjective opinion at a time. This show, every episode, we select four icons from a single topic and immortalize them in our own personal halls of fame. Subjective? Absolutely. Debatable? Always. Set in stone? Until next week, welcome to the Mount Rushmore Show, where your top four says everything about you. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Vince, and we got a full house today, but no Joe. My brother Jimmy is on as well. Jim, thanks so much for being back, man.
Happy to be here.
Gabe is on as well. Coop's cousin. Thank you, Gabe.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime.
This was Gabe's decision, too. We'll talk about the show in a second. And then, of course, my son, Coop, thanks for being on, bro.
Hey.
All right, so here we are. We're not going to even beat around the bush. We're talking, if you can't see from the backgrounds, we're talking about our top four mobile video games. This is an interesting subject because what counts as a mobile game? Gabe, let's start with you, man. This was your idea. What do you call a mobile game?
So a mobile game for me, I think would be like a mobile console where you could take everywhere. Like the Game Boy, for example, and the DS and the Switch.
Gotcha.
Jimmy, like phone. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no. Well, Jimmy, what do you think is a mobile game?
I include all of those. I also think it's anything that you're going to leave your house with. So if it's your cell phone, laptop, anything. So I'm good with, as long as you don't have a remote and you don't have a cord strangled to your TV while you're laying on your couch, that wouldn't apply. But sitting in the subway with limited service, playing one of those free games that includes apps, not includes apps, it includes advertising, then that's boom, perfect.
Cooper, you got a definition for mobile games?
I think it's any app you can get on your phone, a website that mostly works for mobile more than any other thing, a Switch game, a DS game, any handheld you can carry around with you.
Yeah, I think these are all good. I think my struggle is 2026, and Jimmy can agree to this. There used to be a time where mobile games were mobile games and console games were console games. And I think in now we're looking at you could probably play anything on your phone anymore.
Right. We've expanded the universe since you and I remember Game Boys growing up, right?
Right.
And I think it literally would be, if I were to define it, thinking about everybody's thing, and including myself, if I were to define it, it's one that you're in the middle of playing on your couch and you realize your timer went off for your dentist appointment and you decided to take it with you and you want to continue to play it. That to me is a mobile game, however that works for you.
I think that's the perfect definition. All right, so we're doing our top four Mount Rushmore of our favorite personal mobile games. Now, here's the interesting one. This is a generational gap. Gabe and Cooper are like 30 years younger than the two of us. So we might have some differences. Jimmy, do you think we're going to share any of these four with these two?
I think there's one potentially, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, let's find out. Gabe, what do you got? Kick us off. What is your number one or your George Washington, your top right, left of your mobile games?
So for me, I'm gonna go with the oldie here. I'm gonna go with the Super Mario Bros. DS.
Oh, good choice.
So
Came out.
explain to me the DS, Gabe. I mean, I know the Switch, but I also know the Game Boy. Where's the DS fall in?
It's kind of hard to explain. So you got the screen on the top, and sometimes you could draw, like there's a keypad where you could draw with like a little stylus that comes out of the device.
Okay. Did it come before the Switch,
It came
or
before the Switch.
but after the Game Boy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Cool. All right.
So
Tell us some more.
so what's Super Mario DS? Tell us about it.
So Super Mario DS is a game where it includes 2D Mario but with 3D animations.
Hmm.
Actually
And
sounds
it came out in May 2006.
Okay.
And it introduces many new power-ups to the Super Mario legacy, like the blue shell where you get to slide around everywhere
Wait a
without
second. Is that
having to
different than
run.
the? Okay, so you like you're in a shell?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Okay. Mike, did you know about that?
I'm going to let Cooper talk because he might know something about it.
so I've seen a lot of Super Mario Brothers DS. Gabe, if I'm not wrong, they also had the propeller mushroom in that one, or am I thinking of Dot Wii?
You're thinking of the Wii one.
Yeah, but I do know about the blue shell. The blue shell was a
Yeah,
very fun power up. It was like you were the Koopa Troopa shell.
I love watching these
exactly.
two nerd out a little bit. This is great. So I'm just trying to follow like Super Mario Brothers. You could become big, eat the
Super.
mushroom. You could
Exactly.
become froggy and swim.
Mhm.
The squirrel that for whatever reason you could fly. That's different, right? And I'm sure I'm
Yeah,
forgetting a couple in there, but now you fit into a shell. So you're like a turtle Mario.
exactly.
Yep,
Interesting.
I
And you
see.
could you pop your head inside your shell to protect yourself, or is that not something that
No,
happened?
No,
no.
It's just the slide ability.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and it knocks out anything in its path, pretty much.
Okay.
and you can break bricks, and I do have to. It looks really weird when you're in it, or at least it does to
Yeah.
me.
Okay, Gabe, anything else on this one?
And they've introduced the Mega Mushroom, letting Mario grow like 5 times his size.
The Mega Mushroom's actually still a thing. It's in Super Mario Maker, Mario Brothers Wii.
Yeah.
It's become a pretty good big thing and like literally big thing. It's the Mega Mushroom.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, Super Mario DS is our number one for Gabe. Cooper, what do you got for your first pick?
So like is this like the top of our list or
This is your number one that you would pick. Not necessarily the top or the bottom, but the most important to you.
okay,
So
so I gotta go with the Game and Watch game Fire. Um, it's a game where you play as these two firemen with a trampoline, and there's these people falling out of a burning building, and you have to bounce into an ambulance. It's not really the most fun game, but it is addictive, and it's a good way to pass time.
the for those of the Game and Watch, Jimmy, this is old school. This predates the Game Boy, by the way.
Literally the
Yeah.
first, this
So
would be one of the first ever mobile
Do we
games.
have a date on this? What is this?
this would have been 1983. And
Oh
so yeah,
wow.
this predated the NES by 2 full years. That the Game and Watch came out. It came out and it was called the Game and Watch because it was both a game that you could play and it also kept time. You've seen it if you remember the movie Canine. Remember where he had the little thing that he would play when he was on stakeouts? That was the old school Game and Watch.
And
Oh yeah. It
if
had that annoying sound
It did.
or
it
something
does.
like that.
That sound is forever loved now. And if people hadn't noticed, in the Mario Galaxy movie, there actually is a cameo of Mr. Game and Watch. When Luigi is using the paintbrush, he draws Mr. Game and Watch, who absolutely destroys Dry Bowser.
Yeah.
That's a good combo right there. So
Did you know
And
that,
There you
Gabe?
go. Yeah, I do.
Game
I
and
saw it.
Watch was also the first ever mobile game. Game and Watch Ball was the first ever mobile game.
Wow. I didn't think Cooper or Gabe would have a game that predated the one that you and I are probably going to share, but they did. So
speaking of
kudos.
speaking of the one that you and I are going to share, Jimmy, why don't you go start with that one? So.
Oh, I was just hoping you were going to cover it and then I could just add some stuff. So you do it. You
All
go
right.
ahead.
Well, I assume that it's going to be Tetris, and that's the one that I'm putting up number one. Tetris is, to me, it is the preeminent mobile game. Sure, the Game and Watch might have came out first, and maybe other games too, but it's to me, Tetris was the moment that mobile gaming became kind of a phenomenon. It was the first game that was packaged with the Game Boy when that thing came out in the 80s, and Tetris became an obsession for people. People got addicted to this game. And I'm just curious, Jimmy. I got more to say, but I'm just curious. Are we sharing Tetris on this
Oh,
list?
absolutely. I'm
Okay.
hoping that you just ramble and then I can add just a few lines because I have a book that I've dedicated to research on this. So please go on.
Tetris is, first of all, Tetris is a great game. It's a lot of fun. And if you don't know, you should know. People still play Tetris. I catch my students playing Tetris on the computers today, all the time. And it's a
Oh.
game that involves, it's a bunch of different blocks. They're four blocks size. So you have one that's shaped like an L, one that's like a square, one that's like a Z. And that's where the name Tetris comes from. The Latin word tetra means four. And so each one of these are four, and you have to, it's like a puzzle game. You got to line them all up, and if you get them in a single line, they disappear. And the goal of the game is to not basically run out of room so that you die. But the game becomes, while it's simple and it's a bit of a puzzle, it is addicting to the point where people will find themselves playing it for hours. So much so that there's a psychological phenomenon connected to Tetris known as the Tetris effect, where people will play for so long that even when they close their eyes, they will see blocks falling into place. When they drive down the street, they will see how buildings fit together. It is an interesting psychological phenomenon from a video game. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, when I
Yeah.
think about describing this game to somebody that may have never played it before, it reminds me of a topic that you love, that becomes almost to the point where you don't have the words. Like you get caught up, you're like, where do I start? Right? The topic seems so broad to describe it. And it's simplicity, but it's timelessness and it's endless replayability, which is something we talk a lot about this day and age. When you find a game or a movie, the ones that you love the most are the ones that you can go back to over and over again. Um, so a couple stats for you, Mikey. 1989, uh, estimated sales over 35 million copies. And the crazy thing about that is, we didn't track it like we track it today. It was Game Boy had it packaged with Game Boy. So you bought Game Boy, you got that one game with it for sure. If you didn't buy a bigger pack. But that means every Game Boy ever sold got a Tetris game, like it or not. And there weren't that many consoles as in compared to today. When people purchase a modern day, whatever game said DS, or I'm thinking the Switch the
Switch
kids
2.
have, right? So there weren't the sales back in 1989 like it is in 2026 today. Um, I think the thing I would say when I think about it a lot, it's what you're trying to do. I wrote this down. So for those that may not know it, it's players manipulate falling geometric block tetramones to form complete horizontal lines without gaps. Completed lines disappear, earning points and freeing space for continued play. As levels progress, speed increases, testing reflexes and spatial awareness. The simplicity of the controls, rotate, move, drop, made it into, just challenging and at the same rewarding. So, oh, and one other thing I wanted to bring up, like Coop was kind of talking about how Game Watch or whatever it was the first of its time. Game Boy had the link cable,
Yep.
which created the first head-to-head multiplayer on a mobile device.
Mhm.
And so you plug that cable between the two of us, and we're kind of corded again, which was the opposite of what Game Boy was trying to create. But the cool thing is we played against each other right there. So this first of its time.
Yeah, and Tetris for all the reasons you said too, and I agree. Like it's this great game, not only for its history and its sales, also for its psychological phenomenon. But there's just something so satisfying of building up your blocks, leaving that space, the one space for the big long one. And when you
Yep.
finally got it there and drove it into space, and you took four rows out at the same time, it's the most satisfying feeling in the world. It was like chasing a dragon, man.
So you and I share it. Any chance the boys share it?
Gabe, you got Tetris on your list?
No, I do not.
Oh wow.
Cooper?
I also don't
So
have Tetris, but I do know a thing or two about Tetris.
What do you know?
Well, I know that Tetris was supposed to be a mix of the number four and tennis,
That's
which
right.
I never figured out why, and that Tetris is still a big thing today. There are funny animations and jokes about Tetris, and there are people who have found out that the blocks have names.
Yeah, what'd you call them? Tetranomes? I'd never heard
No, no,
that.
no.
Mhm.
Each individual block has a name. It's ridiculous.
Like one's named Gary.
I think so, actually.
Probably.
That's awesome. Now I want a shirt with Gary.
That's
I'm just
awesome.
curious, is he the
Gary.
zigzag or was he the
Well,
block
Gary's,
or
yeah,
what?
to find
That's
out.
interesting. Now I know what I'm going to spend the rest of my afternoon doing. Thank you for that.
Well,
So,
Jimmy, we've all
yeah,
gotten one. You're in with me on Tetris, but I think it'd only be fair if you kicked us off for the next round here.
sure, I would be happy to. One of my personal favorites, I'm going to go more modern since you went 1989. I'm going to go with 2014. So I don't know if this is on every developing phone or if it's just the iPhone that I have, but Crossy Road.
Crossy, oh yeah.
Oh,
I forgot about Crossy
We
Road.
just blew Cooper's mind right there.
I
Right.
forgot about that
This is
game.
where you
Wow.
lacked in your research. So,
Wow.
Crossy Road, I wrote down, is one of the most successful mobile arcade games to ever be made. It was released in 2014 by a hipster whale and became famous for its simple, endless hopper gameplay, which was inspired by Frogger, by the way, for those that can dip back a little bit in time. Extremely simple controls, tap and swipe, fast gameplay, loops perfect for phones, huge roster of unlockable characters, and family friendly, but surprisingly addictive, much like what we talked about earlier. So, personal favorite on my phone. I've even got to the point where I play it on the TV. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Gabe, what do you think about Crossy Road?
I mean, I love it. It's a really good game. I remember when he used to get mad over losing over it all the time.
Okay, well,
But
that's part of good games. So,
This whole
yeah,
thing's just gonna be me dying laughing.
at least it shows that you're devoted to the game. At least.
Coop, you ever play Crossy Road?
Yes, Crossy Road was such a fun game. I remember going to Jim's place and he would have it up on the TV
Oh,
and
that's right on the,
yeah,
yep.
and Crossy Road, like the race of the duck and the chicken, and then you get to unlock more people. It's just
It's fun.
and it's great
a
too
little
because it,
violent in my opinion,
right.
just with like the squish.
Hmm.
I don't know why I think it's violent, but
There is something about it when that train takes you out, especially.
The
Yeah.
PTSD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
dude, that came out of nowhere.
The
Yeah.
flower, just the feathers going everywhere.
the train is the most extreme way to go out on Flappy Bird. Or no,
Yeah.
Crossy Road.
Which one
Crossy
are you
Road.
playing? All right, so nobody else shares Crossy Road?
I
I'm
did.
surprised.
I play it at the arcade, so I never thought of it as a mobile game, but I'm sure it is, and I'm sure that's probably where it started because it's a perfect
Yeah.
mobile game. But the arcade, you have one big button that you're pressing, and,
Yeah.
and they have like the funny thing is there's leaderboards, and like you're trying to get the next spot on the leaderboard, and it can be frustrating. Holy cow! So
Like kind of like a Pac-Man,
kind
basically.
of like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right,
so
Gabe, what do you got for your number two?
For my number two, I gotta go with Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Uh, Cooper's
what
just mind
I
blowing
have
every
that one on
single
my
one.
list.
Cooper
What
sharing
con-
with you, Gabe.
what
I
console are we
shared that
talking?
one with you, Gabe.
We're talking about the Nintendo Switch, about a lot of different franchises from the Nintendo series all mashed up to go into one big brawl.
Again, Game and Watch returning as
Okay.
well.
What do you got for stats? Any info?
It came out in September 13, 2014, and kept adding DLCs over the courses of the years. And it also added Sonic and Super Solid Snake, I think it was.
Yep.
Super, yeah. After a little while, that's all I got on Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
All right,
Coop?
Coop, share this.
On
but-
me, for Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, I gotta say they do a great, like a better job of any of the other Smash games in the series of hiding that none of this is actually real. Because the lore of the game is that every character that you play as is actually just a little toy. And that the
Yeah.
master
Okay.
of Crazy Hand or just some kid's left and right hand, just using their imagination.
Yeah.
All right, Jimmy, how much do you know about Super Smash Brothers Ultimate or Smash Bros?
Nothing.
Okay.
But
So-
I'm entertained. I'm listening.
It's
I'm in.
literally like nearly every major Nintendo character, and they all fight to the death, is the best way I could put it. It's
Street
like
Fighter.
like a Street Fighter. But do you remember when we played Street Fighter and you had 8 characters? And you're like, oh my gosh, 8 characters. That's so many. Uh,
Yeah.
there is with the total downloadable DLC, there's a total of 89 possible characters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
But
Wait, is
that's a
that
lot.
including the me gunner
Total
me?
of 89, man. That's insane, the amount of people you can play from. They all have similar controls. And I'm going to tell you, Jimmy, or anybody else listening or watching, this game is the easiest game to get into. It's so accessible. You just get in there and you can button mash and still win and have a lot of fun doing it. The visuals are amazing. And when you get more people, it's pure chaos and pure unadulterated fun.
Because it
But
can
with
be
the
like 8 players, I think.
Okay,
And
so you guys are connecting somehow, either like on a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and you're playing each other.
Yeah, these switches can
Yeah.
locally connect without a cable. So you can just be, if you're on the same Wi-Fi, you can connect right to it. It's pretty cool.
You
Hmm.
can get 8 people kind of playing in the same little room or same
Yeah.
house.
Cooper's had
Yeah.
like sleepovers where the other kids will bring their switches and they'll all connect to the same TV. It's pretty
mm,
cool. It's pretty cool, man.
Yes.
and it also the number of Joy-Cons you have, you can all play on one Switch.
Don't throw a word out like that and expect me to know it. What's Joy-Con?
That's the
That's the
controllers.
name
The
of
controller.
Okay, now I feel a little
typically
silly.
people will use two when they're playing Smash Brothers because one is a lot harder to figure out.
Okay, because we just called those controllers in my day.
They
They
got
didn't
their
have
own
to.
name.
Okay.
Yeah, just like Gary.
Well,
So, well, you guys have to name everything.
oh my goodness.
Okay, all right,
Goodness.
keep going. Who else had this? Mike?
No, I didn't share this. This is a Gabe and Cooper special here. So,
Hmm.
all right. Well, I'll go with I guess it's my turn. I'll go with my next one here. And this is one also from 2014, Jimmy, that you brought up. So a relatively newer game. This is Flappy Bird.
I share this one as
Ooh,
well.
Flappy Bird, this one I remember when I believe it was Madeline when we were pregnant with Madeline. There's a lot of doctor's appointments, and I'd sit there in my phones in these waiting rooms playing Flappy Bird nonstop for hours, just trying to get to the next level. The game was very addicting, like Tetris. Simple game. You are a bird that is flying, and the only way to keep the bird afloat is to literally tap the screen
And you have to go
to
through
keep it
like,
flying, and you got to go through pipes without hitting the pipes, or else you die. It's a puzzle in its simplicity, and it was a lot of fun, super addictive. In fact, the creator of Flappy Bird, here's the story: Win is going to actually shut it down. He's going to say the game became too much of a problem, and he didn't feel that people were living their lives enough. He'd only intended people to play for 10 minutes at a time. When he found out people were playing for hours upon hours, he removed it from the Play Store and from the Apple Store so that people couldn't play the game anymore. This created a situation that anybody that had it downloaded on their phones, now their phones became very valuable, and they would sell the phone with Flappy Bird installed to people that were willing to pay lots of money.
so he never put it back on there?
He never did. They later came out with a version that was called like Flappy Bird Family. Now, here's the deal. Flappy Bird was not some sort of engineering marvel. It was a very simple game. So, you know what? It was not hard for other companies to copy the same concept. So, you can play Flappy Bird today and versions of Flappy Bird. But if you want one of the originals, the OGs, in my opinion, my understanding of history, you're going to have to go back and find one of those phones that still has it downloaded. But you can play versions that are very similar.
I also share Flappy Bird on my list, and I have to say it is a very difficult game. Like for how simple they make it look, you are going to hit one of those Mario pipes because
It's hard.
it's difficult and like even though it's one control, if you get too close to that pipe, people are gonna be like spamming the button just to hit the pipe above it.
Sure, exactly.
Well, I feel
It
that
kind of
game. Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
I was thinking of Ready Player One.
Hmm.
The guy that created Flappy Bird, just hearing the story, reminds me of him playing God as the creator and going, well, I didn't want to control everybody's life like this. Like, stay in your lane. You created a game, you put it out there for the world to enjoy, and however they so chose, you don't get to decide how much time they choose, and let it be. Let it be what it is. And it kind of reminded me of the creator of Ready Player One, you know. He didn't want everybody to spend their entire life inside the Oasis, I think it was called.
Yeah,
But
you're right.
anyways, that
Yeah.
was my 2 cents worth.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it was a
There's a
ridiculous
good reason.
decision to try and remove it from those places, but I think ultimately what it came down to is he probably was facing some pretty heavy copyright issues. Like Cooper said, the Mario pipes, they weren't like Mario pipes. They were the exact pipes from
Exactly.
Mario in the game, and the clouds were the exact clouds. Like it looked like a Mario game with basically a Cheep
Like
Cheep flying through the
it
levels. Yeah.
looked like they just took Cheap, the bush or cloud, they're the same model, and the pipe from Mario World and just traced them all.
Yeah.
So you think there's more to it then?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that that sounds like a pretty good reason for doing it, but I think ultimately
And
he was going to get sued
the
to do that.
sound for
So,
the bird flying just sounds like an altered version of the Goomba squish, which is also the same swimming sound for Mario. So,
Gotcha. So two of you, you two
well,
in that house must have got together and agreed on this one as
no, we
both.
came to this independently. Yeah.
and then
Okay.
like I
Hmm.
said, I think I got Flappy Bird for my next one. Dad goes, well, we can share that one. And I'm like, you have
Okay.
it?
Yeah, we both have that one.
Coop, you got anything else on this one that you want to share?
Anything else about Flappy Bird?
Well, ever since I saw Flappy Bird for the first time, my brain went straight to Cheap. Flappy looks like a
This
Cheap.
is the flying fish from Mario, in case you were unaware.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm,
not just any Cheap specifically. I mean the Mario World Cheap because it's got the goggles. It
okay.
looks like it has the goggles on.
I think that was the big appeal is that it looked familiar and then it was also kind of fun to play at the same time. All right, so that's so let's see. Everybody's got two on the list, I think.
Nope, I got three because
You
me and
shared
Gabe
two. You
shared
shared.
Super Smash Brothers.
uh,
But I only have one left.
all right. Well, Jimmy, you still got two left. Why don't you go
How many
next?
do you have?
I still have two.
And Gabe?
I also have two.
So we could go
Okay.
any order between the
I'll,
three.
I'll, I'll knock one out
I
with
have one.
a modern day. I can't say I played this enough, but this is one of those games that you couldn't exist today and not have heard about it. And when my parents in their 70s are still actively playing it when I give them a phone call and they can't get off of it to talk to me while I can hear it in the background, Candy Crush is going to make my list.
Oh.
So, right, I know you guys wanted to go more in depth with your Game
My
Boys
mind
and
was blown every time I hear these.
but to me, modern video gaming mobilely is done more on my phone than anything. So they're simple games, right? They're Tetris we talked about, Candy Crush we're getting into. Heck, you could put Angry Birds. There's so many different ones,
Hmm.
right? And then there's classics like Solitary and chess. Games that are just perfect for saving where you are, moving on, and uh, you have 5 minutes or 2 seconds. It doesn't matter. So, released in 2012 by King, it helped define the modern smartphone gaming area, which I thought was kind of cool. Its success is due to easy to learn, short sessions, perfect for phones, constant progression and rewards, which keeps you kind of going. Social competition through Facebook. And that was the other thing. You'd see the ads all over Facebook about it too, which has kind of brought it into that era. And then huge number of levels. So like you felt like you could never quite get to the end, kind of like the internet itself. And at its peak, it had hundreds of millions of players and became one of the highest grossing mobile games ever. The fact that people paid for that blows my mind, but they did. I would just play it with the ads and live with it. So, any of you guys smart enough to put that on your list?
It's not on my list, but I'd be a liar if I said I never heard of it or ever even played it. I've played Candy Crush and Candy Crush Saga and all of the different variations of it. I enjoy it. I think as far as like a simple little bit of like a couple minutes while you're waiting in line at like
Mm-hmm.
Bath and Body Works or at the Subway while you're waiting to order your sub. That's the perfect place to play Candy Crush. But you're right, there are people that obsess over a game like this. And they'll play for days and hours and they'll build up, they'll tell you what their score is or what level they're on. Like, I'm on level 672. It's like, dude, that's a waste of time to some
Right.
degree.
Careful with that number.
100%.
And I like the idea of it. I also feel that Candy Crush, much like you said, Angry Birds, but even like Fruit Ninja and some of these games become kind of the nadir of mobile gaming. It's like mobile gaming was at a certain point, and I look at these ones and I go, they're almost too simple, right? Like, yes,
Yeah.
Tetris is simple, but it's still puzzling and it's very challenging as it goes. I look at something like Candy Crush and I go, man, it's just it's almost just there to waste time. And so I
Yeah,
have,
Subway Surfer, all those
yep,
things are
exactly.
kind of like that, right?
But you can't
Yeah.
deny its cultural relevance, and I think that's what makes
No,
Candy Crush kind of stand out among all of those groups.
that's why I say I've spent the least amount of time on that game amongst any of these games. And I mean, like, I've spent 10, 15 minutes on it. But I can't ignore its prevalence to our daily lives. Like, it's hard to go much more than a few days before you hear that stupid Candy Crush sound going in the
Or see
background
the
and
thing
somebody's playing.
spinning. And
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Gabe, have you ever played Candy Crush?
I have once, but I found it boring immediately, so I stopped.
Same here.
I'm basically with you. I mean, I was never into it, but yeah, it's hard to
And then,
ignore it.
oh, I just realized that there's actually a reference to Candy Crush and Wreck-It Ralph. I
Yes.
just with Candy Rush.
Yep, Sugar Rush.
Mm.
Yep. So, all right,
Uh,
Gabe, what's your number three here?
so my number three, I think I'm gonna do Super Mario 3D All Stars.
Okay.
Um,
Got a tart.
it's a game that introduces Super Mario Sunshine Galaxy and 64 to the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
So
So it's a
three
switcher. Okay.
oldies, yeah.
Hey Gabe,
With
you're gonna
their
have to describe Galaxy for us because my dad has actually never
so
heard of it and he watched the movie and had no idea
so
what was happening.
Super Super Mario Galaxy is where Peach gets kidnapped by a UFO and Mario gets more unique power ups and the power to spin, I guess, to fly somewhere.
Is this why the fox is in the second one? Is this what we're talking
That's
about?
that's a
Fox
different
McCloud.
franchise.
Okay. I just
Uh,
wondered with the galaxy part. Okay, keep going.
yeah, and then he has to go to different planets and gain like power from stars to travel to different planets and rescue Peach from like Planet Bowser, I think it's called.
Okay. So it went intergalactic.
Exactly. And
And
then 64 is have you played 64?
Yeah,
Super
Jim,
Mario
have you played
never
64?
64?
We're talking
never
about Nintendo 64 for
That's the
sure.
one. Yeah.
Super Mario 64. Yeah.
Have you played it? Have you played that?
Yeah.
Dang.
I've never played it, but I've seen
Have you
so
ever
much
seen
about
it,
it.
Coop?
I've never played it, but I've seen so much about it, I might as well have. My probably the best part of that game is getting to go to the never-ending staircase and doing a backwards long jump all the way to the end of the game.
Oh man.
Exactly.
This stuff makes me want to like stay up all night with either Red Bull or Code Red, and just dive deep into the old gaming systems. Like, don't you just want to like pop that uh, pop that cartridge out and blow in it, and then try to put it back in and get it to load all night, Mikey?
Oh
Play
yeah, I
these.
mean, there's a lot of nostalgia to some of this stuff, and to hear these kids talking about the Nintendo 64 in 2026, or even
Yeah.
Super Mario 64, and all of this kind of stuff, it goes, man, I remember those days. I mean, obviously, I couldn't play a lot of that stuff because of the simulation sickness, but I know that those games were huge. And it's interesting, Gabe, that's your second Super Mario game that you have on your
Yeah.
list here, so it's kind of interesting, Jimmy, to see that something from the 80s has still stuck around, 40 years later.
I've made a played a small part in that on influencing him. But yeah, he's got a problem there, just like the Star Wars thing.
I mean, you're the one
So
who gave me this 64.
I know. Hey, I'm the only one from my time that like loves the Beatles. I have my father to blame for that too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
so yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna go also, since we're talking about Super Mario, my number three is a mobile game called Super Mario Run. This was a game that
Love that
came
game.
out and was a lot of fun. It kind of was like Mario joining the mobile world for phones. And you could, if you've never played it or you don't know about this game, it's a one button game. Mario will take off running at the very beginning of the game, so you don't have to use a directional pad. You simply tell him when to jump by tapping the screen at certain times. He can also do parkour. So over little tiny obstacles, if you don't push anything, he'll do like a little flip over it or a little jump over it.
Um,
And the game is a lot of fun, but it's also kind of challenging. And there's enough levels to keep you hooked to the point where you want to complete the game. And so I think that Super Mario Run's one of those really simple games, but it's also a lot of fun. And it's also got that Mario name that kind of elevates everything. It's just a little bit better than most of the mobile games out there.
I'd also like to add that in Mario Run, Mario actually does the same thing every time. He doesn't like do something different. When there's a small obstacle, typically a Goomba, he'll put his both hands on its head and kind of twirl over it. It's like,
Like jumping a fence.
Like a
yeah,
cartwheel.
Not a
no,
car.
not a cartwheel. Like he'll put both hands on top of whatever the obstacle is, and he'd kind of like put his feet up in the air and spin around it.
You ever
Mm.
jumped over a parking meter, Gabe?
No, but I've jumped over a pole.
Same
Yeah,
concept.
same concept.
Okay.
So, Gabe, you've never heard of this game?
I have heard of this game. I actually played it on your phone for a while.
Oh, okay.
I gotta admit, I was
It's
obsessed with the game.
okay. So I didn't know it was on my phone, but okay. So, Mike, do you have
Yeah.
any stats? When are we talking? When did this come out? What
Oh, good
platform?
question. I'm gonna say this had to be 2013, 2012. Let me look that up for sure
Well,
here.
he's
It
looking
looks,
that up. I do have to say,
Yeah,
Boom Boom was probably the hardest boss in it.
I was like, Mike mailed this one in on his research.
well,
What
I may
platform?
here's the deal.
Was it phones?
This was mobile phones. It was
Okay.
2016. So here's the deal. Mailing it in is kind of the wrong term, right? When we're dealing with some of these things that I have a personal affection for, I don't need to do the research. I've done the research by playing the game for so long. But yeah, if you want to know
Mm,
stats, 2016, of course it's Mario, so of course it did big numbers. I mean, we could look into that stuff all day long. But here's what I would say about it, right? Like a lot of these mobile games on a phone feel almost mindless. And Super Mario Run can fall into that category a little bit, but there's enough variety from level to level that you're not just doing the same thing. And I think that's why that Mario name and the Mario people and the fact that Nintendo's going to brand it like that, it's going to elevate this concept. It's still a mobile game and it's still
yeah.
probably a waste of time, but it's like 10% classier than some of the other mobile games out there.
I don't think my dad knows this, but there's actually randomly generated levels in the game too.
I did not know that.
There's a little bonus section, and you go through, and there seems to be an infinite amount of levels that you can go through, as well as the fact that they overuse the Muncher in every level.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know if you even know what the Muncher is because it's such an unused character until Mario Run. It's a little black piranha plant with no teeth and white eyes that kind of like open and close. It looks like something you would expect to see in Donkey Kong or something.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, I think we're all down to our last one. Is that right? So,
I've got
Coop,
Yeah.
one.
Coop, you haven't gotten to go for a while. Why don't you
This
finish
is
out?
this is my last one. And I gotta say, it is a classic in the tower defense game franchise. Plants vs. Zombies. If you've never heard of this game, or if you're thinking Garden Warfare, you need to go home because
I've
this is
seen your
not
addiction bleed into
Garden
my house.
Warfare
So
is very different
Same.
from this game. Plants vs. Zombies has the pea shooter, the zombie, the walnut. Basically, your goal is you're trying to protect yourself from an oncoming horde of zombies. And everybody says that you're protecting Crazy Dave. But no, he's just your crazy neighbor.
How do you protect your house?
The way you protect your house is you plant these special seeds that your crazy neighbor gives you, and they each grow into these plants. He only gives you the pea shooter, but as you kill zombies, they drop plants that they've stolen. So you eventually upgrade to the sunflower, the potato mine, the walnut.
And they all have different powers and
Mhm.
abilities.
And then there's also several areas, um, with PBZ1 having like normal nighttime, the backyard and the fog and the roof levels. And then PBZ2 has like the Egyptian times, pirates, frostbite caves.
I'm curious. So you got into it, you went through right into the middle of it, telling us about it. But I want to jump you back to the very beginning. What time frame are we looking at for this? And what system was it launched on, or is it played on to this
What did you
day?
play it on?
I just played it on Samsung or Android. It's not
Okay.
really
So
it's
phones.
it's mobile game, yeah.
Okay, an
It's
app, right?
It's literally just a simple drag and place tower defense game.
Okay.
This is one of the OGs, Jimmy. 2009, this is going to come out. And I remember
Dipped.
the first iPad we got. This was one of the first games that we ever had on it. And it's a fun game. It's fun because it's the classic. A lot of mobile games try to make you do too much.
It's underrated too.
In this game, you're really not doing that much. You're planting, you're kind of setting up. It's almost like Army Men. You're kind of setting up your army and how they want to play, and then you kind of watch it play out, and make minor adjustments as you go. So it's a great mobile game because you're not sitting there tapping the screen or doing something all the time. There's a lot of do your setup and then watch it go. So
I also got to say, it's not entirely that. The it's especially fun because when you play it long enough, you realize that each zombie has its own sound, which just makes you want to love. Like the Ducky Tube zombie has like a very high-pitched voice, and it's just ridiculous to hear. And
Gotcha.
like the Gargantuar, like obviously we've all heard him like roar and stuff, but
Nice. Okay. Gabe, do you share this one?
I do not share this one.
Mike?
no, I don't share it. But if anybody that's known Cooper knows that he's loved this game since he was really little. I mean, he's been playing this thing for at
Yeah.
least 10 years, So
I am
Good.
obsessed with PvZ.
Your first
Yes.
addiction.
probably, yeah.
It
Welcome
never
to the
ended.
center. Yeah.
I literally
Welcome
drew
to
a
the
picture of a pea shooter while waiting for.
I think this time frame thing, I like it. I like knowing dates because it's like I think maybe it's my age. I like having the timeline and trying to figure out where I was in life when the game came out. Did I have this phone? Do I remember where the Game Boy was at that point? So I got to start out knowing when and what it was on so before I can dive in because it's almost like not framing the information right for me. You know what I mean? So like you got to start the movie with the credits, right? And then the theme music or whatever. You can't just go right into like at the end scene. I hate movies like that. And then they say, well, we'll go back. No, we got to start in the beginning and go.
Well, all right. Well, I mean, how about this? I got something that's going to be right in your time frame, Jimmy, and I'll do my last one and then let you guys finish out, okay?
Mm,
All right. So
Okay.
this one, my number four, and it's going to count, but it's a weird one. This is the entirety of the Tiger Electronics LCD games from the 1990s. Now, the younger generation probably doesn't know what I'm talking about, but I assure you that Jimmy does. These were the handheld games you would get at gas stations or stores on your way out of the building, and they'd cost like $10 to $15. Your parents were more likely to buy them, and it was an all-in-one. You got the game, and it looked like a watch screen or an old school calculator, and you would play a very simple game on the thing. But the great thing about Tiger Electronics was the fact that they had all of the current stuff that was going on. They licensed everything. So you had it when like when Bo Jackson was playing for the Raiders, you had a Bo Jackson baseball game on your Tiger Electronics. When the Bulls were playing, you would have a Bulls version of the Tiger Electronics. When movies came out, Lethal Weapon, you would get the Lethal Weapon version of the Tiger Electronics. And if you're buying a Game Boy game, you're paying probably $30 for a game. For Tiger Electronics, the most you were paying was $20. You got the game and the console at the same time. Now, here's the catch. These were absolutely garbage. They were terrible. They were 5 minutes maybe of fun. They were very simple. They didn't look very good. We're talking old school LCD watch graphics. But man, I would be a liar if I didn't say I always had about 10 of those things, putting AA batteries in and trying to play as Bo Jackson for 5 to 10 minutes at a time.
yeah, I think we were always hoping it was going to get better. We saw the box, we saw the name, and we thought to ourselves, let's give it another chance. They figured it out this time, but they never did.
It was there was
You
never a
know,
good game on the whole system on any
it
of them.
always reminds me of going to McDonald's and seeing the marquee with the burger up there. And I'm like, I'm going to order that burger. And I order it, and it comes out, and I open it. I'm like, that's not the burger I ordered. This one's all smashed, and that one there has a perfect bun and the burger and the cheese. But my point is, like, I feel like that with those Tiger games. You saw the box, you read it, you're like, oh my God, look at that. You think the graphics are going to look like that in the game? Well, you were so,
These were worse.
mistaken.
I
These were worse than Game and Watch graphics. And I'm telling you, here's the other thing about it is like you're right, man. It was the images on the actual machines themselves, the little tiger things, you're like, oh, the case. You're like, oh, that's gonna be so awesome, and oh, this one, and you're right in the fact that you hoped. You're like, I know these things suck, but maybe this one's good. I've played a lot of them, and there are no good ones in my experience.
For anybody watching this on YouTube or listening to this in a podcast, I'm just gonna warn you, false advertising is real. For most cereal things, they use glue instead of milk. For most McDonald's pictures, there's cardboard in that bun. They literally use glue in the pizza to make the cheese look stretchy.
Gabe
You're,
and
ru-
Cooper,
you're
have you guys?
ruining my day.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Gabe and Cooper, have you guys ever heard of Tiger Electronics? Have you ever seen one of these in the wild? Do you even know what we're talking about?
Mm,
No, no absolute clue.
I think we did good job then.
sorry, sir, I got nothing.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, well, that's my final. Jimmy, what's your fourth and final? We'll let the kids finish or let Gabe finish out. So.
I'm gonna bookend this. I started with Game Boy, went to two phone games, arcades. I'm gonna finish it with a Game Boy. Come all the way back around. In 1993, they got this one right. Tetris was kind of working, and then they threw out some other ones that didn't really work very well. It was hard to beat Tetris. Then in 1993, they figured out let's do the Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening.
Hmm.
So, a lot of people consider this the best Zelda game ever, and it was on Game Boy, and they don't care that it was on Game Boy. Released in 1993 for the Game Boy, widely considered one of the greatest handheld games ever made. It proved a handheld game could deliver, and that was kind of the question. Tetris. Everybody saw that, played that, and and said, "Yeah, it works," but it's so simple. It's like the graphics look like chess, but can they really do a real game? Well, here they nailed it. It took 4 more years, but it's a full scale Zelda adventure, not broke down, not a miniature version of it. It had memorable characters, emotional storytelling, challenging dungeons. It worked exploration on both the NES and the SNES, Super Nintendo for those. It worked on those games, period. Um, Unlike most Zelda titles, it does not take place in Hyrule. Does barely has Zelda in it at all, and the story is mysterious and emotional. You know, uh, and just one last thing, it takes place on a stranded island because he gets shipwrecked, and people just love the fact it's kind of almost like the side story that never fits into the original location that everything happened in. So that's my story with The Legend of Zelda. And I love the fact that it finally hit a real gameplay with Game Boy, and it nailed it. And people were like, I got to own this because that game is on that.
Awesome, man. I love this pick, and I love it for the reason I don't know about it. And this is amazing to me that I've never heard about this. And here's the deal about the Game Boys. The Game Boy, you're right, they did certain games that were better than some of the consoles. I know Metroid 2 on the Game Boy was considered an improvement over Metroid on the Nintendo and actually led to Super Metroid taking some of the elements from that. I just finished playing the original Legend of Zelda. I did it all without cheating. I didn't look anything up. Nothing but the instruction manual. I had a blast playing it. It was Nintendo hard in all the right ways. And I would spend hours making maps of these dungeons. There's something about those original Zelda games of that exploration. And when you finally figure out the secret and it makes that little sound that is so satisfying, especially when you've been looking for 45 minutes to an hour and then all of a sudden you crack the code. It was so great. Here's the deal, Jimmy. I know what I'm going to be doing the rest of this weekend. I'm going to look that game up and I'm going to start playing it because now I'm excited. So
You still have a Game Boy?
I have emulators, sir.
Oh,
He has,
sure.
he's got the
Hmm.
Raspberry Pi, and
I'm actually kind of
Careful,
disappointed I don't have a Game Boy.
We'll get
And
you one.
I was going to say, don't they still make them?
They
They're
make
obviously
they
different.
make emulator versions and they make like the thin ones that you can buy for
I
pretty
was going to
cheap.
say
Yeah.
they have a version now, don't they?
I can get you something that'll work. You'll be happy.
Okay. Go ahead,
okay.
boys. What do
Okay.
you think about this one?
Well, I have two things to say about this. Like my dad was saying, the best thing to hear when you're a Legend of Zelda player is the little da dee doo da doo dee da da
It's pretty good.
when you find something.
Mhm.
And whenever I go to school and I tell my friends, my dad has beaten The Legend of Zelda. They say, "Oh, he beat Link's Awakening," and I go,
Not
"No."
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, they say Breath of the Wild and Link's Awakening, and I go, "No, no,
The
he
OG.
just the OG." And they're like, "Oh, is your dad ancient or something?" And I go,
Well, they're right.
"No, he has an emulator."
Yeah. How did you find that?
Mm.
No,
Go
no,
ahead,
no.
Gabe.
Like
You ever heard of this?
they go like that game's.
For me, I haven't played the original Legend of Zelda, but I do own a Game Boy, and I've played a bunch of games on the Game Boy Advance.
Which
And
version of
obviously,
Zelda?
Have you ever
um,
played any Zelda games?
maybe like a bit of Breath of the Wild, and that's it.
I do.
Mike,
I
any
don't
more
really.
thoughts on this?
I'm just excited, man. I think it's a great final pick for you, mostly because it puts me in the position of going, I didn't even really know that this game existed, and I want to check it out. And I'm sure, like you said, I like the fact that it's one of these kind of lost treasures. I almost feel like a secret got unlocked here that I get to go back and play one of these older games. So I'm excited
Sure.
for that.
And
Gabe,
that's
you have, oh, go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's part of what I like about doing this thing is I'll do the research and then I'll listen to you guys and hit something I didn't think of. And sometimes I just can't help myself and I gotta go watch that. I gotta go play that. I gotta understand what he's talking about. He sold it to me all over again. So go ahead, guys. What do you have?
Gabe's got his last pick, I think, right?
Am I the last one?
You're it, man.
Well, before
All
you start,
right.
Gabe, I feel like I cut everybody off a little bit. Anything else you want to add on this last Zelda thing?
I'm
No?
good, man. I'm good.
I'm
All
good.
right. Go ahead, brother. Hit us.
All right. So for the icing on top of Mario games, I don't know why I picked a lot of Mario games. I got to do Super Mario Odyssey on the Switch.
What? I thought you were gonna do that what was
I'm
it?
not the
Was it?
original one.
No, you kept telling me you were going to do Banjo.
Uh,
Can't believe you didn't get Banjo Kazooie on your
I
list.
there was one I did. I actually own it, Banjo Kazooie, but it didn't make my list. I like
Okay,
Super
go on.
Mario Odyssey better. 2017, and to current date right now, 30.5 million copies have been sold,
Dang. When did it
and
come out?
Yeah.
it came
27.
out 2017.
Wow, 35
Eh,
million. And Tetris only sold that much and it had to exist since 1989 to do it.
yeah, and in this game, but there are no power ups. Like the only power ups I think is like the maybe no, actually, there's no power ups at all. You only get abilities with the cat when you throw Cappy, his name is, and it lands on an animal. You capture it. That's what they call it, and then you get their abilities.
Don't
So
spoil
you
it.
get
Jimmy, what do you think
what?
Cappy is, by the way? Do
No,
you
no
know?
clue.
What if
No.
you had to guess, guess.
I don't know where to start. I have
Oh
no
my
idea.
goodness.
Gabe, tell him what
What is it?
Cappy is.
So Cappy is a hat.
Your hat. Yep.
What?
Like your hat. You could throw it onto an animal and you can get their abilities by going into the mind of that animal.
Seems so simple
You
now that you say that.
you were probably thinking it was like his overalls or something.
That's
You don't
exactly
want
what I
him.
was thinking.
You don't want him throwing his overalls.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
Exactly.
Thought it was a wrench or something he had.
Yeah.
His tool belt. All right, Coop, I can see your face. What do you got to say?
I just recently got Mario Odyssey and I was playing it. It's an amazing game. I got it. The best part of the game is when you get that T-Rex for the first time.
oh.
When you capture the
Yeah.
T-Rex.
What? Why is there T-Rex in Mario?
Because it's current Mario games, Papa.
Okay, gotcha.
The same T-Rex from Mario Odyssey appeared in the Mario Galaxy movie.
What happened
Yeah.
about like non-threatening mushrooms and stuff like that, or
Well,
Well, technically
Goombas?
the Goomba is threatening. You can capture a Goomba.
He's not
yeah.
T-Rex threatening though.
No, but you could stack them.
Yes, you can stack them.
Cute little turtles, right, Jimmy?
All right, what else, Gabe? You got more on this?
No, I don't. I don't. But
Coop,
all I can
you know
just
anything
see is
else
the
about it?
confusion in your face.
I
Yeah, it is
have
there.
a lot to say about this game, genuinely.
Take the
This
floor.
So, the story of the game all starts off, you're fighting Bowser on an airship. Now you're not actually doing it, it's just a cutscene. Bowser beats you, takes your hat, throws it into the propeller while you're falling off the ship. You land, your head's stuck in the dirt, and there's like some kind of top hat ghost holding your ripped up hat. And
Happy.
after you chase him up, he reveals himself to be Cappy and he turns into the Mario hat but with eyes and he lands on your head and then you have Cappy who you can just throw, bounce off of, capture enemies. Basically the game wouldn't be playable without Cappy. They really make you
Yeah.
use Cappy.
Yeah, I don't know much about Super Mario Odyssey. I just know that it's been well liked. Like Gabe said, 35 million copies sold. That speaks volumes about it. And I think that the gameplay mechanic with Cappy just changed the game, and it took Mario and gave you something else to do with it. Where some of the other Mario games might have become a little stale in their processes. So I like the pick. I haven't played it personally. I know Coop's been liking it though.
I'm
So
going to show you it.
okay, cool.
Right after this, you are playing it.
We'll see.
I love
Oh,
that
I forgot
Mario
to
really.
mention
Oh, go ahead, Gabe.
it does have a 2-player.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, the Cappy mode where you can play one is
As
Mario,
the
one's
cap,
Cappy.
and yeah, I forgot about that.
When you're playing as Cappy, it doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
Interesting.
My
It's a
sister,
new word today.
my sister begged to play as Mario, and I'm like, no, you're being Cappy.
Well, I mean, there you have it, guys. That's our picks. We've all over the place from the 80s to the 90s. I think as early as 83, as late as what was it, 2016, I think was one of the later ones that we had on here.
2017.
2017. So quite a swath. There's lots of mobile games. You can download pretty much any of them, emulators onto your phones. There's the Switch that's out, Switch 2 that is out now. All sorts of classic games that you can get on and to play. The real question, though, is which one of us had the better list, the better top four? Which ones did we miss, and what would you carve onto your mountain? There's a bunch of us today. My son Coop, also cousin Gabe here, my brother Jim. I'm Mike Mintz. This is the Mount Rushmore Show, where your top four says everything about you.